I am Jang of Ensign InfoSecurity, which is headquartered in Singapore. So 1 month ago, I came back from Singapore to Korea. I feel really good to speak in Korea. So I prepared the APEC cyber threat landscape based on the information we gathered in the cyber threat security, the research on centers. So I'm going to share with you the latest trend. So this is the key threat trend that we have identified in 2020, and we see the increasing cyber supply chain attack, and we also witness increased collaboration among threat actors. And through this collective campaign, they are increasing the risk. And now the environment is moving toward the digital environment, and the working from home is now the normal, so working style that appeared after the pandemic, and the security loopholes are expanding, which become the target of digital attacks. And cryptojacking attacks cause disruption and theft of cryptocurrencies. However, it is declining as the Chinese government banned cryptocurrency trading. And this is a recent APEC cyber threat incident. And we have industry trend, including the banking and finance, manufacturing, and technology sector. If you look at the banking and finance, if you look at the recent trends, fake bank mobile applications are built to lure potential victims to the websites and steal information. In Korea or in Singapore, the legal and the financial systems have been developed, so we don't have many of such case. However, in developing countries, especially in some countries in Southeast Asia, the security awareness is relatively lower, so they are sensitive and vulnerable to phishing. In Indonesia, the threat actors sent phishing email, and when the people receive the spam mails and had a complaint, then those individuals left complaint messages after getting too many spam messages by accessing the fake website, and later they were targeted. In Thailand, one customer accessed the bank web page to update his address, but it turned out to be a fake bank web page, so the person was targeted as a crime victim. And in manufacturing, because of the pandemic, many companies have been pressured to continue operations. And threat actors took advantage of the importance of operations. So they use a ransomware to force manufacturers to pay the ransom to resume services. And one national, the oil company of Taiwan, and the FOMO, the chemical company, and the power tech semiconductor company, were subject to the cyber threats In cryptocurrency, many people are now working from home, and many business processes are digitalized. So cloud service providers, they are exploited by threat actors, and the threat actors tend to use the downloaders like Emotet, Streetbox, and the Tridex to obtain the credentials and access information of a client for attacks, not just ransomware. So most attacks originated from China in the past, and general user system credentials were stolen, and those credentials were used for the cryptocurrency mining.
이 사안은 저희가 이제 사이버 위협 공약, 공약 사이버 위협 정보 분석 공약에서 데이터 유출 활동에 대한
And we identified many trends, and one of them is data breach. Intel 471 and the major CTI providers are partnering with us. We share data and provide analytics information to customers. In August and in September, there were data breaches of Korean food company and Korean IT and telecommunication companies. Cyber attacks have increased. Also, the attack techniques are shared among threat actors. So we see an increasing number of collaboration cases among threat actors. And let me explain the trends related to reconnaissance. The port scanning activities are increasing, and port scanning is a very simple technique with the great effect. So first, threat actors scan our ports and plan attacks accordingly. Especially during the pandemic, more people started to work from home and related attacks are on the rise. I'll take an example of Singapore and the circuit breaker. So, or shutdowns were enforced in Singapore, and that led to more the online meetings, and port 443 was open, so more of the attacks targeted port 443. I think you have heard, but in Singapore, the health authorities have personal information of citizens, and such data was stolen through hacking. Then the web was isolated and segregated to reduce the risk. So web access control is getting tighter. However, by targeting support 25 SMTP, threat actors were able to organize their exploits using email services, characteristics of being internet facing. And these are top 10 targeted ports. And you can find this table on our website. So this is open information. This is about initial access. Threat actors' initial access threat activities were observed to have increased by 230% because of more working from home practices, and many lost jobs in the companies. They want to get some financial payment to get by.
많이 증가하고 있다고 생각하고 있습니다. 또한 이제 코로나 19와 관련한 테마와
Also, so it is related to the COVID-19 because COVID-19 were used as the important themes for phishing attacks. So despite the surge in reconnaissance and initial access attempts, there was a 50% year-on-year decrease in command and control activities. These are key TTPS threats. So it's hard to translate TTPS into the Korean. So it basically is a short for the tactics and procedures. So we need to understand them from the tactical and strategic perspectives.
그래서 이제 마이크로 어택의 거의 매트리스 기반으로 전체 목표에 따라서
So technique T classification to achieve tactic TA so can be defined like this with these frameworks and metrics. It consists of many levels from so the requirements to impact, and we can note that the phishing has the highest risk. This is also a open information available on our website at Ensign. So we are providing response recommendations for each identified TTP. And we call this deception technology or deception technique. So this is a technique to create the decoys using deception technologies. We reduce the opportunities to be hacked. And we also recommend privilege access management and login control. And the process requires include deception management and response and identity and access management. And for external access, we need to respond with network traffic analysis. Network traffic system needs to be built, but somebody has to monitor and analyze. So we need a process for this, and details need to be monitored for threat hunting. Then effective cyber response is possible with this technology and process. The rest can be understood easily. I just want to focus on phishing because of its high frequency. In order to prevent phishing, the additional technology measures are required in email security gateway and deception technology and content disarm reconstruction or CDR are recommended to prevent phishing. As a process, we recommend, above all, the cybersecurity awareness training and phishing exercises. In Singapore, so mock-up testing is required and it's conducted on a regular basis. and CSA and intelligence authorities of Singapore receive a report on the result of the testing to understand the status of readiness, and this should be this is a mandatory requirement. So if we conduct phishing exercises, then we can get prepared against any the phishing attack, and roles and responsibilities of stakeholders can be clearly defined. And we recommend the four letters A, B, C, D, and these are the cyber defense priorities to combat and mitigate, discuss the threats. We need to increase situational awareness and changes in the threat environment, extend the defense into remote work arrangement and the cloud by adopting zero trust principle, and prepare for the response and recovery of systems in anticipation of disruption attacks. Lastly, to establish protection measures against a crypto hijacking. And so each priority has necessary technical response elements. We need a tactical and strategic cyber intelligence service to make effective decisions. In each region, there are specific attack patterns. So if you're operating in a specific region and country or region specific cyber threats have to be understood. Also, such information should be collected at the industry level. In the zero trust area, we usually call security access service as SASE, and for this working from home remote work environment, we recommend SASE controls and zero trust architecture design and implementation. In development, if security is neglected, there will be the legal and the operational consequences. And in the worst case scenario, you have to do it all at once to reflect the security requirements. So in the beginning, please consider security elements from the development stage. Then we can prevent trial and error. And cloud security monitoring and the cyber security visibility have to be enhanced. And for protection, prevention is most effective, and we have to avoid attacks. So we need to have a detection and response system with threat data. And to prevent threats, we need to be preemptive and use tracing and hunting. Digital forensics and incident response process need to be introduced. And cyber range or so tabletop exercise need to be executed, and the red, blue, and purple teams need to set up for pilot testing and exercise. And I think I ended up explaining the processes required for crypto jacking. So to prevent crypto jacking, we need to conduct the security testing, simulation, so that we can take preemptive measures.
저희가 이제 금년도에 여러 가지 이제 공격자들이
This year, so we identified many the key threat actors, and we selected the one as the most threatening organization. So Lazarus Group has been selected as the most hazardous group in Asian region, and it is a state-sponsored advanced persistent threat group, and relevant states do not acknowledge. However, we would not say that say the name of the sponsoring countries. So Lazarus is launching Advanced Persistent Threat ATP. So until the target is reached, they continuously pose advanced persistent threats, and their motivations are information theft and espionage, financial crimes, and financial games. And hacking groups, many of them are claiming that they are well intended and they are against the ownership of data by the government. However, their acts cannot be legitimized because it leads to a loss or damage, and collateral damage should not be accepted, so we shouldn't legitimize their act or their intention. I think this is too much information, but Lazarus has a lot of tactics, so procedures and techniques. If you're operating CTI service, I think they should be included and considered, so specific signatures have to be captured, and if such signatures are detected, then you may assume that this is from the Lazarus group. I want to introduce the company Ensign InfoSecurity briefly. And we want to secure the cyberspace of enterprises, sectors, and countries. And for information related to Korea, so Temasek is a sovereign fund of Singapore, and Temasek is investing in Celtrion and making a lot of return from their investment. And also, so we are an end-to-end business methodology. And Ensign InfoSecurity was established in October 2018 as a joint venture between Temasek and StarHub. Of course, the company Ensign had been around for about 20 years. But with the investment of a Temasek and the involvement of a StarHub, it was renamed and newly established as Ensign InfoSecurity. We have the Korea office, so opened in April last year. And let me introduce the Ensign business methodology. And we are the service provider rather than a manufacturer to enhance customer values. We first provide consulting regarding cyber strategy development and review. And through the advisory service, we check the maturity of clients in terms of security. Then we help develop strategy based on the consulting results in system delivery and policy improvement. We have this kind of a framework. Then, so we also support operation and implementation by providing the management service and security service. And for technical security, so we are managing Ensign Labs. So it performs a deep research in cybersecurity to develop vulnerability research, cyber analytics, threat research, and advanced sensors technology. And this is a value proposition of an Ensign. So we want to be a leading cybersecurity service company with an end-to-end offering from consulting to operation support. And in the work environment of customers, a lot of requirements come up, and we understand these sophisticated requirements, and to meet the demand, we provide solution integration and project management, and based on our long experience, we have 700 global professionals working globally, so helping complying with the standards depending on the level of security maturity. As explained before, when system is in place, this is not the end. We want to support operation. Of course, we are engaging in active sales activities, but we want to get into the market through partner ecosystem. So we are already part of the trusted partner ecosystem with awards from vendors for deploying technologies that consistently stay on top of product and technology roadmap. So this is what we support for consulting. So it consists of advisory service and assurance service. If I explain this, so we provide the executive advisory to executives and the CISOs regarding the planning and procedures. Then we support operations transformation through cybersecurity maturity studies and cybersecurity services training and exercises. And another important pillar is technology transformation. We help building cybersecurity architecture. Also, so we help the review of the architecture, and also we provide consulting on cybersecurity operations technology. And information protection consulting is a part of our assurance service, and all these standards are scattered in the industry. So we have understanding about different standards in Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Europe and North America. So we have a comprehensive view and the information. So we provide information to clients to make sure that our clients comply with all relevant standards.
앞서 일부 설명했던 이제 위협에 대한 함께 요소가 되겠고요.
And in this slide, you can see our threat intelligence. And threat hunting is based on the TTP, the research and detection that should have some cycle, so 1 or 2 months. If the cycle is too long, we cannot properly hunt our threats. So we need to ensure that our insights are updated. And by doing so, we can check whether our data has been leaked out. And when an incident occurs, we can respond promptly. And however, there is a difference between threat hunting and digital forensics and incident response. And threat hunting is a proactive and preemptive approach, and digital forensic and digital response is a post-response. And the legal considerations are made, and we provide a structured process to find the root cause. If the root cause is not understood, we cannot write a report, and we cannot prevent the repetition of the same problem. So it's important to find the root cause and issue a report that contains corrective measures. This is a CTI we are operating. It's simple. So in a few words, we can say that the signatures with patterns exist. We have to turn it into data and filter it to find the similarities for future detection. And clients can enjoy a lot of benefits from our cyber threat intelligence, and we can divide the benefits into tactical and strategic and operational benefits. And for strategic benefits, the companies can identify actionable intelligence to prevent and respond to cyber threats. And we also provide advisory service on cyber threats. And based on our advice, you can make effective and reasonable decision making. For tactical benefits, that you can have an overview of tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPs. We provide information on the TTPs directly to the customers, and there are operational benefits as well. These are the resources that we need to identify threats. The human network-based data and social media intelligence and the proprietary intelligence are basic elements for input data that enable us to identify threats. To understand the details, we need to process and analyze the collected data. So through processing, we can have insights and trend and recommendations on threat response as output. This is a CTI process. This is a list of awards and recognitions that we have received. So Ensign InfoSecurity provides end-to-end services, and these are customized solutions that we can provide to customers, and through global partnership, so we can provide the optimized solutions. These are our customers. We have many customers in Korea. However, because of a confidentiality and the consent issue, we couldn't put the names of Korean companies, but we have wide range ranging the list of customers in many sectors and industries, including telecommunications, oil and gas, and financial and logistics. Thank you very much for your attention.